Welcome to Start Here, Go Everywhere. I am Linda Moyo, an alumna of Jobs for America's Graduates. On this podcast, we bring you incredible guests from all walks of life, offering the skills to educate, inspire, and challenge you to succeed in both school, on the job skills, and in personal life, leading to productive and rewarding careers. What is going on, everyone? I have three incredible college students with me. I have John, I have Denzel, and I have Mickey. These students go to the same college that I do, and they recently started something that is incredible, a podcast, which they came up with, and they do amazing things on there. John, Denzel, Mickey, welcome. One of the first things that I want to talk about is kind of your journey, your high school, and then a little bit about starting college. What was that like for you? Were you scared? What was the process to get you to where you're at today?
I can explain first. So, first things first has definitely been a journey. I've had a lot of different experiences, of course, but it took a lot of patience. And, I was really searching, I wanted to, throughout high school, I really wanted to play college basketball. I didn't really know where to go. I didn't have a lot of opportunities to play. So, it took a lot of patience to understand that, the best opportunity will come, as long as I continue to work hard and trust God and be patient, knowing that He'll, find me and end up being at the best possible place that I can be at. So, I'm thankful that I ended up here at, Bethel College. I don't regret it one bit. The many great people I've met here, I could talk about that for days, but, it's truly been a blessing and a great experience, just being patient and being where I'm at right now.
Okay, and can you tell us what your current academic grade is?
Yes, I'm currently a senior here at Bethel College. This will be my last year here, finishing at finishing here in May 2022.
Awesome.
It's been a long journey. The 4 years came really, really quick, but I'm grateful. I'm thankful to be at the position I'm at now and ready for the next chapter.
Yeah, that's great, Mickey. I think I remember you being in my first year seminar class. And so that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
The contributions you made with the discussions, that was really great. So thank you. And I'm going to ask John, tell me a little bit about your transition from high school to college.
Man, it's hard. Like, I grew up in a big city. I'm a city guy. So I was kind of seeing how small this town was. I was like, I was kind of nervous and scared, like how it's gonna be. Like, what am I supposed to do? And then like later on, like in the years, like, or not the years, in the months or weeks that I was here, it just got easier because just the environment, it made it feel like home. So that took away the nervousness I had, and me being like as quiet as I was, especially my freshman year, just made things a whole lot easier for me just to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. And you're a sophomore currently, right?
Academically, I'm a junior.
You're a junior.
Yes.
Okay. So now, I want to ask, why did you want to go to college? Was it, wanting to join a sports team? Was it, wanting to pursue a certain career? What made you interested in joining college? And let's start with you, Mickey, again.
Yeah, definitely. From my personal standpoint, I'll be completely honest. I wanted to play basketball, and that's what I wanted to do. That's all I really wanted to go to college for. And school wasn't really a big thing for me. I didn't really, have academics as a priority at the time. And I'm, grateful, by the grace of God that mindset changed, and I understood that I got to take care of the academics because that's what's going to take me far in life. But I started off playing basketball, and thankful Coach Arteta gave me an opportunity here. Very, very, very great coach, great person, great man. Gave me a lot of great life experiences, and just gave me a chance to come here and come to the next level. So over time, like I said, I started to care more about academics and understand that Having an education is what really will, take me far and allow me to continue to grow in many different ways. So, yeah, at first it was basketball, and then, I definitely started to understand the education standpoint being very important.
So what made you transition from that, I'm here just to, play basketball into that mindset of, hey, education is not that bad. I see this being useful in
Yeah.
my life. How did that happen?
Great question. Yeah, I would say maturity, for sure. I wasn't really mature here, and part of that is just how I continue to grow spiritually. Allowing God to just transform my mind and focus on what's important and what's not important. Not necessarily saying basketball is not important, but allowing me to, just think of things not, so much of a childish standpoint, but mostly focus on things that are unseen and that are in the future. So I think just becoming more mature gave me the opportunity to know what's right and what's wrong, and what to spend most of my time studying and doing my schoolwork, opposed to just doing stuff that won't help me out or constantly allow me to slack off.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, John? What was your main purpose of wanting to go to college?
I'll say the same thing as basketball, because I played that most of my life. And I was just hoping, looking for scholarships to go anywhere to play. Had a few, came to Bethel. Loved the environment of, I forgot, I think it's 4 or 5 schools. And this was the best place, that accepted me, into the family. I felt at home.
Yeah.
Being with the players and all that as a recruit. And so I just chose here. And then I just loved it. It is mainly basketball that brought me over here, that brought me wanting to play college or wanting to go to college. Not necessarily caring about the academic portion of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew academics was important. But I was always taught growing up that what are you going to do after basketball? And that was implanted in my head over and over again. And you got to have that plan B, I guess.
For sure.
Just in case. For after basketball, what are you going to do? Because you only play basketball, even pros only play basketball up to their 40s.
Yeah.
And what's next after that? So I always knew that academically I had to prepare and get a degree that I could get a good job after basketball, because I knew basketball wasn't going to last for any longer.
Yeah. So it sounds like both you, John, and Mickey, have similar stories of, wanting to go to college, and basketball is that main thing that was pushing you towards college. And so now, Denzel, I'm interested in knowing a little bit about your transition from high school to college, and then introduce to us, the reason why you went to college.
My transition it's been a journey for me as well. I'm actually a transfer student here at Bethel, and coming out of high school, I had intentions of playing college football. That's my number one. And but I knew I wanted to make it so my mom didn't have to pay for me to go to school. So I would, but hard from where I'm coming from, because a lot of people don't recruit in Delaware. You don't see a lot of big schools coming to Delaware, so it's kind of hard. So if you really do want to kind of make it out from Delaware, you got to go to a different state, and that's what a lot of players do. But the high school that I was at with me with the best education at the time, so I actually chose education early, and from that point forward, I went to my first school, Methodist University, and it was good over there. And then, life happened. I made some decisions and didn't really know where I was going to end up going into my sophomore year. But then I was blessed to have the opportunity to come here. Literally the weekend before school started, I got a call from Coach Kelly, who was a previous coach here, and he had gave me an offer to come out here. So I didn't do a visit. I didn't do any type of researching of the school. I really just took a leap of faith, got on the plane, and came to Kansas. Like it was wild. But then I got here and it felt right. So I guess the moral of the story is, man, sometimes all the time it's important to trust God, but even with the things that you don't really have a lot of knowledge on, just going into faith and that trust in Him, it's just like it's going to work out one way or another. And I believe that happened when I came here.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure most college students, including myself, go through that journey of thinking, is this the right college for me? Am I making the right choice and decision? My favorite quote is that life is choice driven and not chance driven. And all of us, especially in college, have made choices, whether those were good or, the choices that, created some challenges. So I want to know about some of the choices that each of you have made during your college career, and the ones that were good, what made them good, and the ones that were challenging or created challenges. What were those challenges and how did you overcome them?
For me, throughout my college life, I was really, really involved in a lifestyle that, was separated from God. I made decisions and I was revolved around the party atmosphere, revolved around temporary materialistic items, basically, that wouldn't help me out throughout the future. And that's really what I was focused on. I was focused on what I was seeing, what was around me, what my environment was. And, obviously I'm grateful because those experiences have shaped me to the person that I am right now. And I can help and relate to people, to make sure they don't make the same decisions that I made, or they don't have the same experiences that I've had, therefore that they can just make that jump to become the best versions of themselves. But throughout those, the good, the great, I would say, when I fully started seeing growth in my life, when I fully started making the next step, is just when I, made a decision to separate myself from those things. And I wouldn't have done that without God, of course. Allowing God to completely transform my mind and, change my desires and change my, ability to, or just want to do those things, and that just started with becoming separated, spending a lot of time by myself, staying motivated, even simple things like going to sleep early at night, waking up in the morning and starting my day, going to the gym, surrounding myself around really, really good people who will help me grow and, not necessarily make me take some steps back. So just some of those little things, I think, really, really helped me completely make the next step in my life to become the best that I could be. And I'm still human, obviously. I'm still growing and I'm still learning. But, I'm just grateful that God gave me the mindset that I have to know how to fully get to the position that I want to be in order to keep moving forward.
I came to college and then my teammates were doing all these things and I saw that they're having fun. I wanted to fit in, get closer to my teammates. I started doing the same stuff. And then it's just recently where I just, same story. I started seeking growth, started getting to the Word by the grace of God. And I started growing as a person, growing spiritually, and setting my mind on the unseen things, and just started finding more of myself, I guess you could say, find more of my purpose. And things got a lot easier on me for like many things that's going on in this world. Like I'm starting to be more unfazed, stuff like that. So it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing experience since I made that step.
It sounds like an amazing experience. What about you, Denzel?
I think for me, I never really been like a big party person, not even in high school. I barely went. I don't even think, if it wasn't homecoming or like prom or something, I don't think I went anywhere. But when I came to college, it was COVID at my last school, so we didn't really do much. But when I got here, I went to a few when I first got here. And since then, like, I realized that's not really what I like to do. Like, that's not something I'm used to. I just tried it because I know I never did it in high school or anything coming up. But a lot of my journey and my like my faith walk, it actually came from deaths in my family. Like, I never really had like a true person to like guide my walk or help me guide my walk or give me that experience. Like, I definitely had family members in the church. Like my grandpa, he was heavy in the church. My grandma, my mom is too, and but they never really like sat me down and taught me the way or like guided me through the way. So it was more of like experience for me and just kind of putting different pieces together. But I know personally when my grandparents passed away, I felt like I was at the lowest point in my life. And because they were basically my parents, and they taught me a lot of things, and I spent a lot of time with them. So it felt like a part of me was missing when they first had passed away. And then I kind of like I went downhill for a minute. Like, I was leaving school early, and I had stopped playing football for a minute. I wasn't going to practice, and then because when you don't go to practice, you can't play. So I kind of like took myself out of certain situations, but and then I tried therapy and everything, but therapy wasn't even working. So then I just put myself out there. I said, you know what? Let me just try this Bible. It's been sitting here on my dresser collecting dust. And I just like I just opened it. And we got phones and everything. So I'm a person, I don't know the Bible inside and out. Like, I don't know every verse. I can't sit here off the top of my head and tell you this is where you need to go for the specific feeling. So I'm gonna use my research. So I go on the internet and I'm like, I try to explain how I'm feeling and find verses that may connect to how I'm feeling. And I read that chapter of that book, and I just feel relieved. And then I take that and I just try to apply that to my life. And that's also the way I learn too. Because like I said, before I came here and I met Mickey and John, like, I didn't have that older or like that elder, because they're technically my elders, even though they're not much older than me. But I didn't have that guidance of somebody telling me like, okay, like, you know what I mean?
Of
And
course.
just it's definitely been a long journey, like mentally. Like, now that I talk about it, I didn't realize how much these things took a toll on me.
Yeah.
But like, at a point right now where I feel so like just relaxed and at peace, at, like, in who I'm becoming. And I think that's the best feeling, because I know I'm on the right path now. Like, I know I don't feel like I have. It's going to be bumps and hiccups, obviously, because we're still learning. But I feel like I'm at a point where my faith is growing so strong that I'm ready for them. Like, just bring them on, and we're gonna work through this. I'm not gonna allow these obstacles to bring me down and take me back down to my lowest point anymore.
Yeah, I love that. And you brought up such an important thing that especially us as college students go through. We become separated from the people we grew up with, our family, and we're suddenly in a new location where we're supposed to, try and have good grades, or if you're in a sport or a club, and also handle, taking care of yourself and some of the struggles that you're overcoming. So I'm curious, how have you all been able to, overcome obstacles that you're facing while being so separated from your family or or people who you grew up around?
Us Watermarkers, we talk about God a lot, so it's all glory to God for sure. When you asked that question, I really just couldn't think of anything else. I'll share my experiences before I fully got saved. Things were tough. Obviously, I was separated from my fam early. I'm really really close to my family. I love my parents with all my heart. My big brothers. I am the way I am simply because of them and how they raised me. But at first, while being separated, or even while I wasn't really the best student or even doing the best in my sport, I would resort to temporary things, in order to cope with, how I was feeling, the temporary happiness. And, I realized that the temporary happiness leads to just more and more suffering, more and more pain, things like that. So, you know, over time, like Denzel said, he seen that Bible collecting dust, just like me. I know we all have, the Bible. We know what the Bible is. We know what the term Christianity is. We know what everybody has a title, label as a Christianity. But I realized it was more than just a label. It's something we have to live out. It's something we have to fully, show within ourselves. If somebody meets us for the first time, they should be able to say, that's a follower of Christ. That's a really, really bright person. Simply without even them saying it, then you could just tell that's a follower of Christ. So I started to realize that I need to do more in order to fully, be delivered from things, or to fully receive that point of happiness, or just to, continue to be okay and be well and content. So that's what I did. I started seeking, and this wasn't just an overnight thing. It was a journey. It took years, to have the mindset that I have now. It took years, years of constant failure, constant mistakes, constant taking steps forward and taking some steps back. It was just consistently like that. But I'm grateful that, as I was taking steps back, I still, understood that, things are going to happen in life. I'm not going to, it won't be a smooth road to get to the top. It's gonna be some obstacles. It's gonna be some obstacles. So I understood that, and I just made the decision to keep on seeking God. Keep on reading my Bible, keep on worshiping, keep on praising. And while all that, become separated from the world, become separated from, the temporary things. And when I started taking the temporary things out of my life, and filling that with more of God, that's when things really started to shine for me. Growth started to become a reality. I started to be content in every circumstance. I know John talked about being unfazed. That's exactly what it is. No matter what it is, I'm constantly unfazed, in any circumstance. But, we're just growing. I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm still growing. And, I'm hopefully able to understand that as long as I stay right with God, he'll take care of me wherever I'm at. So that's where I'm at right now.
And for you, John?
Basically the same journey. Like I, obviously as someone who just wanted to fit in, have fun, because I never really had that much fun. When I just started realizing, like, over time, I just never had that urge to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I did it anyway, just because I wanted to fit in. And then I just saw, like, it's not doing anything for me. Like, that's not the true fun that I'm looking for, I guess you could say. And then over time, like, just this semester, or last semester, when I came back up here, got on the radio show, and Mickey started telling me, like, his journey, his stuff, that's going on. And I started getting back into it, because I used to be in the Word. I used to be in the Bible. But I never lived it out. And I was young, too, so I never understood what was happening. I just read it to read it. Say I read it, stuff like that. And then I started reading and actually trying to interpret it into my own life, and then started realizing a whole lot more that, like, these temporary things that make you happy aren't going to get you where you need to be, or where you want to be. The only true answer to that is getting closer to God, because he's the only one who can reveal that purpose. He's the only one who can give you that happiness that you're looking for, that peace that you're looking for, and that's eternal. So that's the main thing that helped me understand that all these temporary things that make you feel like at peace or whatever, that's just temporary. It's not nothing that's gonna last. It's because guess what? When all that stuff ends, you're gonna want another one. You're gonna want to do it more, because it only lasts temporary.
Yeah.
So something that's eternal is what's gonna get you that happiness and where you want to be. So that's kind of my journey on this. So
Yeah, and I appreciate that you mentioned that we often focus on, temporary things instead of things that will actually fulfill us completely. So thank you for sharing that. Denzel, what about you?
For me, I tried to use football in the weight room as temporary fulfillment, but like I still do that, but I got my priorities straight now. Like
Okay.
it's not football, school, God, is God, school, football. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not placing those things, like John said, those temporary fulfillments in the front, because I know without God, none of these things would be here. Like
Okay.
it's a process that you go through to even get to this point. And I feel like in the beginning, that's what caused me to question a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm thinking like, okay, I'm working in this area, but why am I not getting the results that I want to? But God is in my ear telling me like, yeah, you working here, but you're not working with me. Like
Mm-hmm.
or I've only really been on this journey, had to be for like going on 2 years. Like this is not a long process for me. I'm not going to sit here and say, since I came out, I was on this. Like no, I'm not, and I'm still working. Like Mickey said, to be the best version that I can be for Christ. But I'm not at that point yet, and I know I still have a lot of work to do. But I do know that being able to, one, like doing this podcast with them, because when they had asked me, I've never met them. They DM me, and it was kind of like, okay, it's something new. I've never done anything like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and put myself out there. Why not meet new
Mm-hmm.
people? I took it as an opportunity to express my faith, because it was at one point in time where I struggled to do that. But this, like, I'm not gonna say it forced me, but it allowed me to voice everything that I'm feeling. And
Mm.
through the word of God, I think that's the best way to do it, because one, you're being intentional about your words. You're also just bringing other people closer to Him as well, and
Yeah.
that's what we're here to do. Sow seeds. So it's just, I don't know. Like I'm just lost for words, because it's crazy how doing things like this, it makes you feel, and it makes me happy, because I already like to motivate people, but
Mm-hmm.
doing it in this way feels like the best way, because it's it's just a different feeling. Being able to connect the word of God with life experiences, I think that's the best way people understand. Because when people feel like, oh, this person is further ahead than me, then
Mm-hmm.
like that's what draws them away from trying to learn, because they feel like it's too late, but it's never too late.
Yeah.
And it's a process, but you gotta love the process and be able to accept and endure the things that come along with it.
I love how you three are now doing this podcast, which is something that I appreciate about college in general. It's a time for you to explore, be challenged, fall, get back up, and then you will stumble upon a great opportunity, like you three did, to do this podcast. And can one of you share with me what you do on that podcast, what the purpose of it is?
Try to relate to as many college students as we possibly can, and by our experiences, and obviously put the Bible in it, and whether it's real life experiences or stuff that we went through, and we can talk about like it's okay and that's normal. As the devil, mainly we talk about what the devil will throw at you.
Mm.
As a new Christ follower, as somebody who's been following Christ for a long time, because we explain that it's one thing to accept Christ, but it's another thing to understand what comes with that,
Mm-hmm.
and to know that there's a lot of battles that come with that. So I think our main roles, I would say, as speaking on this podcast, is to just equip people with the right knowledge, with the right tools, to know how to fight the devil's schemes, to know how to fight his temptations, and just to stay strong mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we want to let everybody know that we're human as well,
Mm.
and we go through things. we go through experiences too. So, as we're helping other people, we're helping ourselves at the same time. So I would say the main thing is just to try to get as much people saved as we possibly can, and to accept Christ as our Lord and Savior, and turn away from sin, because we're surrounded by sin, especially in college, 24/7. So I pray that when we speak, we relate to as much people as we possibly can. College student or even anybody else who's not in college listening to whoever it is. The main thing is to get people saved and accept Christ.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious for each of you, if you could give advice to a current college student, or a student out there who is hoping to, graduate from high school and go into college. What words of wisdom would you share with them?
I would say, for me first, one sentence. Wow, it's really
Yeah.
Be patient and trust God. That's my sentence, honestly.
That was honestly my sentence.
Yeah, I mean, it explains it all. I think being patient, and while you're being patient, know that somebody else is fighting our battles for us. So mine is be patient and trust God. Keyword, be patient. So, yeah.
What about you, John? You have to pick something else now.
Yeah.
No,
I beat you too.
Denzel, you might have to go, because he took my sentence.
Mine would be that the journey is a walk and not a run.
Ooh, the journey is a walk, not a run.
Right.
That's why he's the motivational speaker right there. That's why he got the magic word right there.
Yeah, for sure. If you could have dinner with any two individuals, who would they be and why?
Oh my gosh.
It's a tough one.
Two individuals.
Yeah. Or to make it easier, let's do one.
One.
Dead or alive, who would it be? Whether you know them or you don't know them.
I ain't gonna lie, Linda. I had the two already in my head. I had the two.
You have to pick one, Denzel.
Okay. I gotta go Eric Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta go Eric Thomas.
Oh, one of my favorite quotes by him, it's like, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
I remember that.
I got one. Mine would be, I just want to know his mentality. I mean, like, obviously we know his mentality, but I want to just break it down and talk to him. Mine would be Kobe.
Ooh.
The reason why I choose Kobe Bryant, obviously it's been my favorite basketball player, but he's just, his mentality is on a whole nother level. So I just want to sit here and just see like how he's able to think the way he thinks. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, Kobe is definitely a different breed for sure. So that would be an interesting conversation. What about you, John?
Honestly, it'd also be my favorite basketball player, Stephen Curry.
Oh yeah.
Like, just to ask him, like, how is, because I see that he's a man of God. He posts stuff about his relationship with God. He gives grace to God. Like, after every shot, you see him point to God. I just want to see like where his mentality is at, and how does he stay humble with all this stuff being thrown at him as a huge basketball like player. Like, just how everyone loves him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how great of a shooter he is, being the greatest shooter. Like, how is he able to stay humble and not get so prideful through all that? Because I think that's something really tough for people to stay humble in.
For sure. That is something that is extremely tough. And all three of the people that you picked are, great inspirations and extremely motivational people that have been influential to our society. So I like those answers. My last question for you three is, what is your definition of success?
Easy. Eternal life. That would be the only time that I can fully say that I made it. Knowing that I'm seeing God face to face, and He says, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And I think we want to be successful here on earth. So obviously, we want to be the best we can be. God tells us to be the best we can be. But the ultimate top, when I'm like, I made it, I succeeded, is when I'm, in God's kingdom. So that's me.
I think for me to add on to that, because obviously that's the moment like anyone could feel succeeded, that they succeeded in life. And something to add for me is seeing someone that has the same kind of story of me accepting that Christ and making it to that eternal life as well with me. So that's another thing.
I'm gonna be honest, Linda. I don't know yet, because it's like my definition of success is changed a lot over the years, and I know that I'm still developing. So I'm not going to try to force an answer. I don't have a clear answer for that right now.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing that up, because success is such a huge term that we throw around so easily, but that looks different for each person. And the fact that you're in a stage in your life when you're like, hey, I don't know what my definition of success looks like. I respect that. Thank you for sharing that. And to all of you, Mickey, John, and Denzel, hearing a little bit more about your individual life story and journey that you've taken, and then having this podcast that has really brought you three closer to each other, to yourselves, and to God. It's been incredible to listen to, and I hope that you will continue in your journeys even after college, and learn and grow and be successful, whatever success means to and for each of you. So I appreciate you coming on this podcast today. And yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, Linda.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest things, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at JAG Students. Thanks again, and see you next time.